be delusional about it being good for you. All right? Come on. Come on. Just admit that it's not good for you and be like, yeah, I don't care. I want my bacon. I don't know what to tell you. All right? That's what I want. I'll never say it's good for me, but it tastes good. I mean, I saw that one. Did you guys, let me see if I can find it. Do you guys see the post of like, it's like a steak and eggs? And it's like, what you should do anytime anytime Democrats tell you something is bad, consume a lot of it. Do you know what I'm talking about, chat? Sure to say, thanks. I want to find it for you guys. Hold up. It's good for my soul, Denim. Okay, that's fair. These people do the opposite of what the government recommends. Avoid eggs. Eat 3 to 20 daily. Limit red meat. Eat steak daily. Avoid butter. Eat butter. Limit salt. Salt your food. Avoid the sun. Enjoy the sun. Congrats. You've just won your health back. 20 eggs a day is crazy. Bitch, you farting. Oh my god. Oh my fucking god. Listen, okay? Look, you want to eat a stick of butter and say the F slur like that one chick does that gets banned on like Twitch every month? You want to eat a steak every day? I mean, I'm not going to stop you, man. That's your right to do whatever the fuck you want to do, okay? But really, you won your health back? Let's see if your doctor agrees in 10 years. let's see what your doctor thinks, man. All right. Oh, fuck me, dude. I also don't know where they're getting this eggs thing. Like, since when do people say, on the left, say avoid eggs? I know, like, a decade ago, there was this big scare about eggs being high in cholesterol, but, like, it's the good cholesterol. It's not, like, the bad cholesterol, which, again, we moved past that a long time, like, a decade ago. We moved past that a decade ago. It's, what is it, HDL? It has increased HDL instead of LDL in eggs. So like eggs, you can eat as many eggs as you want. Maybe the salmonella thing, yeah, but just like everything else with food, as long as you bring it to the right temperature, it's fine. You just need to bring everything to 165 and it's food safe. So like, yeah, if you want to eat 10 eggs a day, 20 eggs a day, go for it. You will be farting and your bank account will be hurting. But besides that, I mean, do whatever you want. Always a great rule of thumb. Nutrition free thinkers don't actually think freely. They just believe whatever the opposite of the consensus is. Eggs and steak won't kill you in moderation, but building your entire diet around saturated fat because the government says it's bad is actually bad. Yeah. That's not true. Just cooking it back up to temp, if I heard you correctly. With eggs? I mean, if you live in the US, as long as your eggs are in the fridge and they're cold and you don't just leave them out, you can just, if you cook it to 165, it's safe. Is it not the case that you can just bring food up to 165 and it's safe to eat? Did something change since I last learned about salmonella? Did salmonella 2 drop recently? If the food is spoiled, you can't cook it and make it safe. I think that's what the chatter meant. Yeah, but I qualified that by saying as long as you keep it, as long as it's been stored, if you're American, if it's been stored in the fridge and it didn't sit out for extended period of times, it's safe to eat. Misunderstood or misheard, that's fine. I thought you were saying you could cook to 165 if they had been left out for a while. Oh, no. No. You cannot do that. There's like, also, dude, becoming an adult, realizing in my 20s, you're not supposed to eat food that's cold, that's been sitting in the fridge. And anytime you fridge food, you're supposed to reheat it. Even things like pizza. Growing up and realizing that and being like, oh, yeah. If you fridge food, you have to reheat it. The chance is low, okay? The chance is low. But if food was hot and then you put it in the fridge, you're supposed to reheat it for proper food safety. Chance for what? Like foodborne illnesses. Because like, the freezer will stop bacterial growth. The fridge slows bacterial growth. This is why you can like, think about like proofing dough. Think about making bread and you put yeast in the dough and you let it proof. You let it like expand. If you leave it out, it'll expand a lot very quickly. If you put it in the fridge, it'll continue to expand, but way slower than if you had just left it out. If you put it in the freezer, it won't expand at all. Because the fridge just slows the bacteria or the bacterial growth or whatever, the freezer stops it completely. So yeah, if you, technically, you guys can live your life however you want to live your life. But if you do fridge something, you are supposed to like reheat it back to 165 to be food safe. So yeah, American diet is salty. You don't need to worry about that. Well, that's the other thing as well. Like the reason that people in here have probably eaten a lot of food straight from the fridge and have been fine is because, one, a lot of American food especially it has a lot of preservatives. it's very salted, which is a preservative, or it's super sweetened, which is a preservative. But yeah. Yeah, to be clear, 165 is like the general rule of thumb, but there are some things that can be lower. I forget if it's like what seafood, what it is for pork and what it is for seafood. But I know that 165 is like the general rule of thumb that's pretty safe for everything. But yeah, pandemic take. No, I'm serious. I'm sorry. This is true. So now I actually reheat my food. I know. Which I'm gonna jinx myself right now. I have yet to get sick from food, at least that I've made, but this fridge thing is new to me, and I'm shocked I haven't died thus far. Well, like, again, it's like salmonella, where the chance for salmonella in an egg is low, but it's never zero. So, like, if you consumed a raw egg, you're probably fine, because the chance is low, but it's never zero. But it's never zero. It's a risk, it just doesn't mean that it's a super high risk for that chatter. Yeah. Yeah. And then, obviously, also, you can't just cook food that has gone bad and then be like, look, it's not, if you had like raw chicken sitting in your fridge for 5 days, it's bad. It doesn't matter how high you cook it. Don't eat that. You shouldn't eat that. Don't do that. No. After something is sat out at like room temp for 2 hours, outside of things, certain things, like I think butter is fine. A couple things can sit out at room temp, but some foods, like after you leave it out for 2 hours, it's not good anymore. Food safety is really cool. Like milk. Dude, this is by far one of the coolest videos that I've ever seen in my life. That, like, you can technically, as long as the milk wasn't sitting outside, if you went to the store, you bought milk, you immediately put it in your fridge, and it didn't leave your fridge at all. The expiration date kind of doesn't matter, and you can drink that milk after the expiration date. What matters way more is what temperature it sat at for how long. Because milk is, like, ultra pasteurized. So all the bacteria has already been killed. This is a good one. And also, in some instances, it makes sense to have old eggs because of how, like, the proteins in eggs work. I was doing research on this because I was making a meringue the other day, and I had 2 packs of eggs. I had a fresh pack of eggs in case I made any mistakes, and I had an older pack of eggs that it expired that day. And I was like, Google, like, which one is better? Because I couldn't remember. And things like meringue, having old egg whites helps the egg white whip better. And as long as the eggs were sitting in the fridge the entire time and they never sat outside for more than like 15 minutes or whatever, they're more than good to use. They're more than good to use. It has everything to do with how much time they spend sitting at room temp. With American eggs, I know other countries don't wash off the stuff that sits on eggs normally so they can be safer for longer. Free yogurt, baby. No. The only exception to this rule, chat, is like meat. Meat is like the big exception to the rule, where like you follow I follow all the rules on meat, on like chicken, beef, pork, all of those. Whatever date's on there, I'm gonna listen to whatever date's on there. Everything else, a lot of other things, there's like, it's all fake. The date, what matters way more than the date is like the smell test and how long it sat outside. I don't care, I ain't drinking chunky milk. Oh yeah, this is another thing. I'm sorry, once the milk starts smelling bad, I don't care how long it's been in the fridge, it's going in the garbage. That's just disgusting. Like, what the fuck is wrong with you? If you drink bad milk, you're a freak. You're actually sick in the head. You're like a vile person. You're a vile human. But also, if you've ever looked at the expiration date and it's like, oh, it expired yesterday, and the milk literally, I've had this happen before, I'm sure it's happened to a lot of other people, where I bought a carton of milk, I put it in the fridge, and then I forgot it existed. And then the next time I wanted it, it was like literally a day after it expired. And I like opened and I removed the seal and everything. And I'm like, it literally smells fine. This is fine. This is totally fine. My sister throws the whole carton of eggs out the second one single egg fails the float test. She goes through a carton every 2 weeks or so, which I find wild. That's crazy. That's actually crazy. That's, they're literally fine. Again, as long as you didn't leave your food out at room temperature, it's fine. It's fine. If you left your eggs out at room temp, you should throw all of them out, obviously. But like, this is crazy. I was looking into the float test because my understanding of the float test is it's a test of like how much air is in there, which doesn't have anything to do with whether or not it's like necessarily safe to eat. And this is crazy. Has the water test for eggs ever failed for you? On the R Homestead subreddit. A few years of owning chickens, and it never failed me until today. I found an egg near where the chickens lay in our barn, but not in the pile. I took it in, water tested it, it turned up right, but it didn't float at all. Cracked it, it exploded green and yellow sludge everywhere, and my house smelled like a rotting corpse for 3 hours. so disgusting and foul that I skipped breakfast. I'm confused why it didn't float if it was that far gone. My only theory is that maybe it had a bit of mud on the outside. Did that make it sink? I'm traumatized by this experience, lol. It's not a foolproof 100% guaranteed test. That's why I always crack an egg in a little bowl before adding it to a big bowl. I'm pretty sure the float test has to do... Okay, so I actually did learn this in class. As like eggs get older, do you float? No, but my fat ass does. Sorry, I don't know why I said that. My understanding of eggs is here's the egg yolk, and then there's always like a little bit of air inside of it. And as the eggs get older and older and older, there's more air inside of them, which is why sometimes if you've boiled older eggs, it'll be like, there'll be like one side that's totally uneven and it's like missing a huge chunk. Eggshells are not airtight, so air passes through them also over time. That sounds right, but that wasn't my perfect understanding of it. But how much air is in the eggshell doesn't make the egg suddenly safe to eat or not safe to eat. What makes it safe to eat is the first and foremost important thing is whether it was at food safe temperatures, which is why, like, general rule of thumb, anything that's sat at 2 hours at like room temperature is probably not safe. This is like a common misconception with like reheating rice, for example. A lot of people think that you can't reheat rice because then it'll go bad or something. But it actually has nothing to do with that. It has more to do with the fact that a lot of people who eat rice tend to leave rice in like the food danger zone for too long. And so it stays outside, just like on a pot or something at the food danger zone. Here's a nice little picture. So you cook your rice, you serve it, and you leave it in the pot, and it stays at this temperature, which is the 5 to 60 degrees, which is when like bacteria will thrive and it will grow and multiply and whatever. Whereas anything above 60 degrees Celsius is safe and it kills the bacteria, and anything below, 5 Celsius will either stop the growth or slow it. So you can't keep food. What does this mean in American? Oh, sorry. Here's an American one. So like if you can hold temperature at like 140 degrees Fahrenheit, and here's like the different things for internal temperature for safety to kill bacteria. As long as it's being held at that hot temperature, the bacteria can't grow because it can't even live at that temp. And then below 40 degrees, it slows the growth. And then at 0, it can't grow at all. And then this is the danger zone, where it's like anything that sits between 40 Fahrenheit and 140 Fahrenheit for more than 2 hours is not safe to eat anymore. And you shouldn't eat it anymore. Or not shouldn't eat it anymore, you shouldn't eat it, period. Good to know, thank you, yes. I mean, listen, to be clear, you can make whatever decisions you want to make in your life. I've done it. I've eaten food that was not food safe. I was really hungry. I've done it. Now, albeit it was before I learned about this, but I had a good idea that the food probably wasn't good. And I was like, Asmongold says this isn't real. Asmongold viewers be like, this can't stop me. I can't read. But anyways, a misconception about rice, I understand. A lot of people think that reheating rice is dangerous and that rice is unique in some way, but it's not that it's not like people get sick because they reheated the rice. That's not the problem. The problem is always that the rice sat too long after the first time you cooked it. So you cook it, you leave it out in like your pot or your rice cooker or whatever, and it stays out for like 4 hours after you ate. And it's been sitting in the danger zone for like 4 hours. And you're like, okay, well, let me put it in the fridge. You put it in the fridge and then you reheat it. And once it's sat in the danger zone, it doesn't matter how many times you heat it. It doesn't matter if you cook it to like 10,000 Kelvin. It's not safe to eat anymore. It's no longer safe to eat anymore. So people will put this food that's sat at the danger zone for too long. They'll reheat it and then they get sick and they're like, oh, I can't reheat. This food must be unique and I can't reheat it. But it's not. It's just that you left it out for too long. I cook it in the sun. Yeah. 2 hours. Come on. That's like you can't bring some things on a picnic. That's not how rice makers work. Sorry, this is such a non-rice eater thing to say. You can keep rice in the cooker for a day or two. There's nothing wrong with it. I mean, if your rice cooker keeps it above 140 Fahrenheit, yeah, then there's nothing safe with it. Or sorry, nothing dangerous. Also, are you leaving rice in your rice cooker for 2 days? That's crazy. I'm gonna just assume that your rice cooker gets really hot. I have friends who keep rice in the rice cooker 24/7, bruh. Oh my god. After 2 days, is it even rice anymore? Oh my God. After 2 days, the rice starts to fight back. It's insane to say you can't have rice out for more than 4 hours. LOL, I'm sorry. I mean, you're not arguing with me, dude. You're arguing with like food safety scientists. Like, you don't have to believe me or agree with me. This is just this is just true of food. I'm sorry. This is just true. And again, to be clear, it's not like if you eat food that if you left a bowl out for 4 hours, it's not like eating it is definitely going to first of all kill you or that you for sure will get sick. It's that now there's a risk where there otherwise wouldn't have been or there otherwise would have been a way smaller risk, right? Now you're just playing Russian roulette. When you leave the food out for that long and you eat it, me when I left my food out for 2 hours and 1 minute. Oh, fuck. Again, it's like, it's fine. You might get sick. Whereas if you keep your food at food safe temperatures, you shouldn't get sick. You're just rolling a dice. You're just rolling a dice. That's it. You're just taking that like D100 and making it into like a D4 for some reason. When you eat, the longer you leave food out at like danger zone. That's how you should view it. It's like at the 2 hour mark, you're looking at like a D20. At the 4 hour mark, you're looking at like a D6. At the 8 hour mark, you're looking at like a D4 probably. So like you can take those odds if you want to take those odds, but in general, you shouldn't do that. You shouldn't. It's good for my stomach to expose it to bad food. But anywho. And also like preservatives change foods a lot. So how much sugar or how much salt is in something is going to change it a lot. So damn, that's actually disgusting. But also, as someone I've gotten very lucky that I ate food that I shouldn't have eaten once in my life, and it wasn't even good either. I just was really hungry. Fucking please. Okay, I think it was that I was like in the middle of like a Vindictus binge when I was like 16, and I was so hungry. You know when you play way too long and then you're like, I haven't eaten in 12 hours. And I was starving and I didn't feel like making food, so I'm pretty sure I just ate the food that I knew was bad and I didn't get sick, and I was like, I think I used up all my luck with that meal. Such a good topic for Spore Sunday. This chatter says I once ate 2-day-old pizza, no refrigeration. I got so sick I wanted to die. God, oh my God, you're so disgusting. Again, just like think about it, like the longer you leave it out, the smaller and smaller the dice number looks until eventually you're rolling like a D2 at disadvantage. And you're like, oh. Ooh. I guess that would just be a coin, huh? A D2. That would just be a coin flip. Right. All right. Anywho, D2, I'm feeling lucky. I like those odds. Okay. To the chatter that said that, you eat rice whenever you want to eat rice, you can do that. I'm not going to stop. I'm not going to stop you. You can do that. But ever been to an Asian household? I mean, the Asian households I've been to tend to put the rice away in the fridge. Also, another thing I didn't know, by the way, chat, you can put hot food in the fridge. The only concern about putting hot food in the fridge is that you might make the temperature of the fridge food unsafe. So unless you're putting like a really big hot stock, which will definitely make the rest of your fridge hot, it's okay. You can put warm food in the fridge. It's okay. Why would you not be able to do that? Well, there's this misconception. I used to think that like the food would go sour if it went straight from hot immediately to cold. I don't know why I thought that. It's like a common myth. But I guess it stems off of like again, if you keep your fridge not that cold and then also you're putting in something really hot that's really big, it'll make the fridge warmer temporarily, warm enough that maybe, But again, unless you're making really, really big things, it's not a big deal. I was told it would crack the glass. Oh yeah, but then you just put like a paper towel or something, like a towel, and it's probably fine. But kind of like putting a frozen turkey in a toaster oven. Yeah, it's just that the turkey is too cold for the rest of the oven, so you're just cooling it down. My mom would fly kick me in the face if she caught me doing that, even in my own fridge. Yeah. Also, that misconception is from when fridges weren't as efficient. That makes sense because modern fridges are really good. That makes actually a lot of sense. Oh yeah, and like this, yeah. Some foods do react to brutal change of temperature, but it's more like chocolate and such, not like normie leftover. Like your fried rice, or like your ribs or whatever. They can be hot. You can just throw them in. It's fine. But also you can just like leave it out for like 15 minutes and then put it in the fridge. So, okay. I don't know why I got on this tangent. I just like ADHD autism tangent needed to go in. Also, again, chat again, like I said, you want to leave your food out for 2, 4, a billion days. It's your right. Okay. It's your right to do whatever the fuck you want to do. You can do whatever you want to do. I don't I really don't care. It's not my business. I care a lot more, like, perfect example. I know I try to keep my floors clean. So when I drop something on a floor, if I drop a cookie that I was really looking forward to on the floor, will I pick it up and eat it? Yes, because I keep my floors pretty clean. Okay? It just fell. I picked it up 1 second later. I don't care how clean my floors are. I could have just mopped my floor. Like, I could have literally just steam mopped the floor with alcohol. Once something hits the floor or even a counter, like, I am so paranoid about guests. Once something even touches my counter, I don't serve it for guests anymore. Once food is even a little gross, I'm like, no. You can't have this. You can't eat this. No. I'll eat it. But, like, somebody else? No. No, for real, with cats around, I don't trust like that. Yeah. I only care about food safety when you're serving food to other people. I feel like the type of people that, like, I saw this one photo of, like, this guy that said he was going to a barbecue and he marinated his chicken and he put the chicken in the fridge 3 days earlier and you could see the chicken juice on the fridge, on, like, the glass. And I wanted to fucking throw up. I was like, that's so disgusting, dude. I'm so paranoid about eating other people's food, dude. Not really. I don't really care hard enough. But I do think about it sometimes. And I do want to shame those people, okay? You should practice good food safety if you're serving other people food. Did you tell me that? Yeah, I know. He didn't bag it. He did bag it and there was still chicken juice everywhere. Anyways, as a microbiologist, I'll eat something I dropped because I know there's nothing there, but there's nothing to grow on unless I drop it in soil or something. Yeah. It's like, again, I know when I'm cooking, I keep my floors and my counter clean. But like I said, the farthest I'll go is, like, if I only had one dessert left or if I only had one food thing left and I dropped it on the floor and I have a guest over, which has happened at least once, I'll be like, hey, I was going to serve you this cookie, but I dropped it on the fucking counter or I dropped it on the floor for like 1 second. So, like, you can make the decision now. Otherwise, I was going to throw it out. You can make that decision. I mean, again, you can go inspect my floor right now and decide for yourself, but I'm not going to do that to you. I'm not going to ruin your conscience like that, you know, like or my conscience like that. You can make that decision yourself. If you want to, go for it. If you don't want to, no disrespect. None taken. I'd eat it. Yeah, because I know other people are like me. They might eat it. I don't know. It's also like, it's not like I dropped spaghetti on the floor and I'm like scooping the spaghetti up and I'm like, it's still good. Okay. The idea of not doing this, dude, some people are gross. Some people are so gross. Some people are like nasty, dude. Even your counters. Well, okay. Again, like I said, before I cook anything, I always clean my counters. Mostly just because I don't like working in a shithole kitchen that's covered in trash and garbage and random shit. And it makes me feel better having the kitchen be totally clean right before I start cooking. But I also have cats that jump wherever they want to jump. So it's possible that while I was turned around, one of my cats jumped on my counter and then jumped off. And it's like, I can't in good conscience put something on that and then give it to somebody else. Like, that doesn't feel right. That feels wrong. Okay. Anywho, moving on. Thank you for joining me on this tangent, chat. Thank you. Food is really cool. Food is very cool. Food safety is also very cool. Cats are germ peddlers for sure. Yeah, they absolutely are. As a formerly depressed person, I feel personally attacked. No, please don't, okay? Please don't. I just told you I've dropped things and eaten them. It's fine. It's okay. Yeah, this is kind of an Adam unruined something. Dirty counters are where the flavor comes from. Have you ever thought about having a dead rat next to your bed, though? Dude, what the fuck? No shade, but I think you might be low-key germophobic or a little OCD. Okay, first of all, let me say 2 things. 1, I am a little OCD, but it's not that type of OCD. I'm organizing OCD. I like things being in the correct location. 2, I just like knowledge. I enjoy knowing what makes things safe or not safe, and then being disgusting anyways. You know? Like, even if I know something's probably gross, I'm like, well, who am I really hurting other than myself? I'll take that risk, you know?
Diaceros Diacerade has raid you govern pal Fefla 5 rock on.
Did you know that wooden cutting boards need to have their coating redone? Don't even get me started on cutting boards. I, like, mauled it the last time I did research, because, like, I have plastic cutting boards that I've had ages ago when I first needed cutting boards. And then I realized whenever you're chopping into the plastic, you're getting microplastics in there. So I'm like, oh, well, like, let me do some research. And I did research into it. And then, like, wood cutting boards, you have the same problem where, like, you're ingesting small bits of wood, whether you want to or not. Not to mention the fact that, like, the wood can get, like, bacteria in it, even if you're really good about cleaning it. Okay. So I was like, well, what else is there? And then I started doing research onto marble. And apparently marble also has like the same problem as well. And I was like, I give up. I don't care. I like, don't, whatever. I was so mad about it. Metal? I'm not cutting on a metal cutting board? What the hell? I didn't even consider that. Can you cut on a metal cutting board? Oh, but then so that was the problem. Yes, I remember. The problem with cutting on marble and the problem with cutting on metal is that it dulls your knives way faster. Because there's nothing that's like eating the not tension or pressure, but you get what I mean. I've started using a plate lightly. Also use metal, non-cook answer, yeah. The problem with marble is that they are gone, people. I don't even care if this is excessive, dude. I don't care if this is excessive. Here you go, man. Please enjoy. Please enjoy it, man. Enjoy a light VIP. All right. I'm sorry. It's too good. The problem is that it is gone, people. You're so fucking stupid. All right. Okay. All right. It's impossible to move on from food as a subject in American forums. It happens 10 out of 10 times. It's fucking crazy. It's because you guys don't have nutrition education as a kid, so it's all like a fresh subject. There's no nutritional education. There's like the nutritional education I got in public school. Maybe you guys went to really nice public schools or something and mine was shit or something. The problem with nutrition in the United States is like, you should be eating 50% vegetables, 50% meats, and 50% dairy. And you're like, wait a minute. First of all, none of these numbers don't add up to 100. Second, what about these are not the correct food groups. This is not how we organize food. What the fuck is happening? And it's like, also make sure to have every meal with a glass of milk. And you're like, what? Looks at who funded the study. Big Milk. Okay. All right. Okay. So like, there's no nutrition education, no nutritional education in the United States. Nobody learns about macros. Nobody learns about nutrients. Nobody learns about like, food safety. I mean, there's a lot of Americans that don't even know how to cook. And that's not a statement of judgment. That's a statement of, if you don't ever learn, how are you going to learn? If you don't learn from your parents, you don't have a natural inclination, and your school doesn't teach you, then when you just like literally wait until you want to, which is going to be rarer as you get older and older and older, right? So I did a bit of nutritional education. I peddled the food plate bullshit. That's fucked up. Health classes briefly went over the food pyramid and that's it. And like the food pyramid is nonsense. It's literally nonsense. Wood is okay, even though it's a little bit of bacteria can get in the cuts because wood is porous. Well, the problem with wood cutting boards is that you're going to break off little bits of wood here and there, and you're going to be eating pieces of wood, which is, I don't know if it's as bad as plastic, but it's also bad. So I think I just have to bite the bullet and get like a marble or like a metal cutting board and just sharpen my knives more often. I think that's it. I think that's what we'll have to deal with. Okay, moving on, chat. Moving on. Sorry, I was about to make an announcement. I have a knife sharpening kit. I've got like a little whetstone that I got. All right. What are you talking about? Just use wood and clean it? I just explained this. When you use a cutting board, you're cutting little bits of wood, that really small bits that are getting into your food. But I'm not going to get it. It doesn't matter. That really doesn't matter. You get a bamboo cutting board. Bamboo's edible anyways. Wait a minute. Just use stone? No? Well, yeah, that's what I was thinking. I was going to get like a stone one. But the problem with marble, stone, and metal is that your knives aren't as sharp when you use it. So you have to sharpen your knives way more often. Okay. Sorry, I'm done. As someone who makes custom knives, this conversation's killing me. Sorry. Stop overcomplicating this. Just use it. My entire life is overcomplicating things that don't need to be overcomplicated, okay? Do you know how hard it is to be me? I have to do literally... Sometimes I have done hundreds of hours to make one $20 purchase, okay? I need to know that I have the best possible thing. I'm not settling for mediocrity, all right? No. And the way I see it, you win if you act this way. Yes, you get less done, but you learn so much in the process, okay? You learn so much about all of these materials and why they're good and why they're bad. And then you'll learn things you didn't even know you would learn in the process, okay? So me spending 2 days of research on which set of $150 speakers to buy. Yeah, you should have sent, I think I put in like over 20 hours of research to buy one skincare item. Okay. So your rant about gargling hot water years ago practically saved my life by random chance. Dude, another good example where I was getting sick all the time. So I was like, this is fucked up. I'm not going to buy anything that's going to help with my sickness until I figure out why the fuck I'm getting sick all the time. And I did so much research. One thing, by the way, which I learned, They ran studies. We don't know exactly why, but if you gargle warm water thrice a day for 30 seconds at each moment, or like each time you gargle, those people who do that get sick way less often than people who don't. And apparently, the salt water thing is a myth because they also tested for that. They had a control group. It was a long study over the course of, I think, like a year. They had like, or even longer maybe. They had one group that did nothing, one group that did warm water for 30 seconds, 3 times a day. And they had a group that did salt water, warm salt water. And the warm salt water group and the not salt warm water group were exactly the same. So you don't need to use disgusting ass fucking salt, actually. Yeah. Because I was using the salt water. I was like, this is disgusting. Like, so I researched it. I was like, maybe the salt does something. And first of all, they don't even know why the warm water gargle works. But with the other group, those people didn't have any benefit to using salt. What if you just drink warm water 3 times a day? Well, I didn't read any studies on that, so I can't comment. So, okay, moving on. Yeah, if you get sick a lot, try this, chat. Try this. Especially if you can feel when you start getting sick, chat. Because I will tell you, I can tell like a day or two before I'm about to get sick. And right when that happens, I have a bunch of orange juice. I try to get as many vitamins as I can. And then also I do the warm water gargle and it works. It does work. Like a cold, any upper respiratory thing tends to improve. I didn't ever get into the research on magnesium, so I don't know if that has an impact or not. So you guys might want to do that research yourself. I don't know. You're supposed to spit it out? I think you're supposed to spit it out. That's what gargling. The gargles are gone. People, shut up. Okay, I'm not going to reach out. You guys are distracting me. I want to keep talking. You guys know I'm a yapper.